In this video, I'm just going to talk about how to configure a DHCP server and relay agent. So let's talk about uh, some DHCP concepts first. So when you hear DHCP, what is the first thing that comes into your mind? So DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. So basically, it's a protocol that you can use uh, if you want uh, your hosts to have, or if you want to assign dynamical IP addresses dynamically to your hosts. Um, so there is the process to list an IP address uses the following four messages between the client and server. So there are four messages. So basically, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So to discover, send by the DHCP client to find a willing DHCP server. So uh, this is something that the DHCP client sends to or broadcasts in the network, and offers sent by a DHCP server to offer to list to that client a specific IP address and inform the client of its other parameters. And request this sent by the DHCP client to ask the server to list the IP v4 address listed in the offer message. Acknowledgement sent by the DHCP server to assign the address to list the mask, default router, and server IP addresses. So discover, offer, request, acknowledgement again. So you can actually abbreviate this um, DORA, DORA. And there are DHCP allocation modes. So uh, there are three DHCP allocation modes: dynamic allocation, reuse of IP addresses by other devices, lease expires. Uh, this is the usual mode that is being deployed in production, at least based on my experience. Number two, automatic allocation sets the DHCP lease time to infinite. Um, so this is um, when the DHCP assigns a dynamic IP address to a host, that host uh, has that IP address forever, or uh, yeah, forever or infinitely. Um, as a result, once the server chooses an address from the pool and assigns the IP address to client, the IP address remains with that same client indefinitely. So this is the word that I was looking for earlier, indefinitely. Not sure if there is infinitely. And the third one is manually static allocation. Pre-configures the specific IP address for a client. Uh, Pre-configures the specific IP address for a client based on the client's MAC address. I actually have a sample configuration here. This is how you configure a manual address binding. So basically, uh, this is how you statically assign an IP address to a client. I'm not gonna go through uh, with this particular configuration, but I just added this just for reference. And by the way, I got this all these concepts and configurations from this book. So So yeah, there's actually two books, this one and this one. So let me go back here. This is how you configure the or an IPv4 DHCP server. So later I'm gonna show you the configuration that I did, um, the DHCP server and a relay agent configuration that I did. I actually have a topology here. Uh, so you can just it's pretty self-explanatory, I think. So you can just check this yourself. But like I'm gonna explain because I have a sample configuration here. So I'm gonna explain these configurations later, a little later. And this is how you configure the DHCP options. So under uh, so you can configure a DHCP option in a DHCP pool with the following command. So you should be in this uh, particular mode. So DHCP-config mode or DHCP mode. So option number value. So that's how you configure the DHCP option. So and we have also some DHCP options, common DHCP options. So 43, 69, 70, 150. I'm not. So basically 43 is the location of the wireless controller. 69 is location of um, the SMTP server, and 70 is the location of the POP3 mail server, and 150 is the location of the TFTP server for your Cisco IP phones. And this is how you configure the DHCP relay agent. So DHCP relay agent. This is actually here. This is the normally your uh, interface facing the LAN network. So uh, this is usually your default IP address, and this is the IP address of the server, or yeah, the DHCP server. And already discussed this earlier. And these are some iOS DHCP verification commands. So I'm gonna use these commands a little later. And this is a just a summary of DHCP troubleshooting. So I just added this for reference. So now let me go to the topology. So let me explain this topology quickly. So basically, I have a cloud and ISP router uh, connected to the cloud, and I have R1 and R2, and actually a HSRP is configured on both these, both R1 and R2, and the HSRP virtual IP address is this 10.0.8.51, and uh, I have a core here, core switch, and got a Ubuntu Docker 1, Ubuntu Docker 2. This Ubuntu is on VLAN 30, and Ubuntu 1 is on VLAN 30, and Ubuntu Docker 2 is on VLAN 40. So, like I mentioned earlier, I already have configured DHCP. The DHCP servers. So in this case, the DHCP servers are R1 and R2. I'm going to show you the configurations that I did on both routers. So here, and this is the commands in the notepad. So basically, I just here. I just excluded the IP addresses that I don't want the DHCP server to allocate to hosts. And I specified the pool name. So in this case, VLAN 30. And this is the network. So this is actually the network configured on core switch, on the core switch here. So if you go here, so let me show you. So VLAN 30, show run interface VLAN 30. So here, as you can see, this is the default router in this case, default router, and the network this IP address belongs to is this network here. And the DNS server, this is the HSRP virtual IP address, or just IP address, HSRP IP address. So as you can see, 10.0.8.51. So yeah, same configuration. Same syntax. So for VLAN 40, I excluded these IP addresses. So from .1 through .10 as for this particular subnet. And this is, like I said earlier, the name of the pool, the network, the default router, and the DNS server, which is also the DHCP server in this case. And this is how you configure the DHCP relay agent. So basically, you are just configuring this IP helper on the IP address. Uh, on the interface. So let me show you the example of that. So here, for VLAN 30, interface VLAN 30, I configured this IP helper address. So this is the DHCP server, right? So here, DHCP server 10.0.8.51. So that's how you can configure the DHCP relay agent. And like I said, this is the DHCP server configuration commands. Show IP DHCP binding, DHCP pool and the pool name. And this is how you can configure the DHCP clients to get an IP address via DHCP. So in this case, I'm using Ubuntu Dockers. So Ubuntu Docker 1, which belongs to VLAN 30. So, and Ubuntu Docker 2, which belongs to VLAN 40. So let me actually go. So we have verified the configurations on the servers, which is in our case R1 and R2, and we have verified DHCP relay agent configurations. So let me show you the VLAN 40. So that's the IP helper address. So let me do some DHCP. Let me do some of these commands here. Show IP DHCP binding. Oops. So in this case, there is no IP address being assigned to the hosts. Not sure what's happening here, but let me go to the clients or hosts. So ifconfig, this is how you that's the command that you can use to verify the IP settings on the host, right? In this case, Linux box or Linux host. So looks like there's no IP address. So you can actually check this. Use this command. And okay, so um, auto Ethernet 0 and iFace Ethernet 0 iNet DHCP are already uncommented. So basically the host is configured properly. Let me go to here. Not sure why it's not working. Let me actually, oops, yeah. So we have verified DHCP, I mean the pool DHCP pool configurations on the DHCP servers, and it's looking good here. And also the DHCP relay agent, which is also looking good here. So let me go ahead and actually restart the hosts and see if they can get IF. Let me use that command again. Yeah, it's already uncommented. Let me also restart Ubuntu Docker 2. Start. Just waiting for Ubuntu Docker 1 to restart successfully. So failed to get a DHCP lease. Working to background. IF config. That's weird. I already tested this before and it was working, so I'm not sure what's happening now. So let me go to the switch here. Let me ping the core 29. So it looks like okay, I can't ping it. And let me go to the core switch and ping the DHCP server. So 10.0.8.51. I can ping it. So let me actually close that. Failed to get a DHCP release. You can actually use this command here. Where is it? Here. And on the DHCP server and see what's really happening real time. So packet. No DHCP binding yet. Let me stop and start the host again. The hosts. Start. Let me check again. Sending. Discover. Failed to get. No lease. Why? Hold on. Let me check the here. Oh, okay. So I guess this is the problem. So the interface is not on the correct VLAN. So it should be on VLAN 30. VLAN access VLAN 30. And switch to, let me check the configuration. So it's the interface gig 0/1. Nope. Exit. Yeah, now configuration. So let me put this interface onto VLAN 40. VLAN 40. Okay. And let me restart the hosts again. In hope that they can get IP addresses. Okay, now they have uh, an IP address. So let me do a show, ifconfig. As you can see, this IP address has been allocated to this host, .12. And let me go to Ubuntu Docker 2, ifconfig. And .11 has been allocated to Ubuntu Docker 2. So, and this is how you verify your default gateway on the hosts. So let me just, I guess it's still getting that. Oops, I think just that command. Yeah. So the gateway in this case, let me remove this, is .1. And let me go to Ubuntu Docker 2. And here .11. .1 also, .11.1, Ubuntu Docker 1, and .10.1. So now I can do these commands on the DHCP server. So in this case, the DHCP server is R1 because this is the active router. This should be the active router. Yes, this is the active router. So if you actually go to R2 and do that command, you will see nothing. There's no DHCP binding because right now R1 is the active router. So that's the active DHCP server. So yeah, that's how you can verify the DHCP binding on the server. And you can actually do this command also if you want. So VLAN 30 and VLAN 40. And it show IP DHCP server statistics. So yeah, I'm not gonna make this video too long. So I'm just gonna add this document here in the description of this video. So yeah, um, let me see if maybe I forgot something here. So yeah, I think I'm good. So that's it in this video. Thanks for watching.